We're going to be taking you through the progress of our black comedy feature film.
Who are you, by the way? Nobody knows who we are.
Look at yourself, sir. Realistically, nobody's going to give you that money. Nobody. You don't know who the fuck you are. It's a complete risk. You are unknown.
This is our first feature film, something we're going to do together. You're going to get it warts and all.
For now, you're just some pair of idiots like everyone else.
So we just go into it.
I kind of think we could.
This is DIY Cinema Cult.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Aaron. How are you doing? How's it all going?
I'm all right. Yes, it's nice to be back. I feel like we've had a little bit of a break again, haven't we?
We've been busy boys, haven't we?
Yeah. Or is it just like we're getting a little bit old, a little bit less able to kind of put the energy in? We're like sort of two pensioners who keep saying, "Oh, we must meet up and have that game of drafts." I'd love to see it, and then we don't quite manage it. But we're here today. We're here today. Episode
16. What have you been up to recently?
Oh, well, I'm sort of back on my dock a bit, actually, after a sort of extended time of kind of paying for the, let's describe it as a forced 3 months holiday over the summer period of our lockdown of literally zero work. So I did what a lot of freelancers are doing at the moment, is basically say absolutely yes to absolutely everything. And, you know, I'm now back with a little bit more sort of headspace and time on my hands, so I can work on the documentary a little bit more. But what about you, mate? What about you?
Yeah, it's been good. I went to my first socially distanced film screening the other night. So,
how was that?
It was weird, but it was nice. It was, you know, that little film I made with my boys going up to visit my mum and dad's, and we did we made that weird little sci-fi.
We mentioned it on the last podcast, I believe.
Yeah. So I just got linked by somebody, I can't remember who, on Facebook to some people who were looking for films shot in lockdown. Yeah. And so I just stuck my film in, and it got accepted. And there was a screening in Hackney, in some kind of cafe somewhere. And it was fantastic. I was a bit anxious about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, we don't kind of venture out that much anymore. Now it looks like, you know, the prospect of another lockdown looming. I was kind of a bit weirded out about how it was going to work. But in a way, it was quite nice and pleasant and hopeful. If we got, you know, with regards to safe public screenings and film watching and cinema in general. But it was weird. I kind of got there with my mask on, and, you know, I had to go up and say some bits and got asked questions at the end. Just
not very loud, and don't sort of spit at the audience while you do it.
Yeah. And see, I had to take my mask off for that. And because my mask is, I don't know how good it is at keeping corona out, but it's very good at keeping my voice in. It literally, nobody can hear me when I'm wearing it. I'm constantly shouting at people in shops over the counter because they can't hear a word I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's like screaming into a pillow or something. So I thought, there's no way I can do a Q&A with this thing on my face. And weirdly, everyone started taking their masks off during the screening.
So it all became a little bit like the ceremony where there was a super spreading event with Trump and the new Chief Justice, where everybody was just sort of sitting around with no masks on by the end.
I mean, everyone was very, very well distanced. Ultimately, it was great. It was great to kind of, go and see the film and to be screening stuff again, which is it's been a long time.
And obviously now you've had 14 days isolation as a result of this.
I also went to the cinema. I gave you a text the other day, didn't I, about going to the IMAX.
As far as I'm concerned, the only actual film that's been on the entire summer, not that I've been to a theatre film at the cinema, has been Tenet, the Christopher Nolan film. So how was that?
It was brilliant. It was exactly as you might imagine. It was a bit of a ride. to be honest. It was supposed to be for Elvie's birthday, but Elvie was sick, my 11-year-old. So he dropped out. So just me and Joe went, my 13-year-old, and he absolutely loved it. And I was I wasn't sure how it was going to work with them. I have shown them one Nolan film before, and it was The Prestige. We watched that. And that worked because we were watching at home on DVD, and I kind of guided them along and nudged them in terms of what kind of was going on and what was happening. And you
told them in the first 5 minutes that he's got a twin brother.
Well, I kind of nudged and hinted towards it, and they really, really loved it. But I didn't know how it was going to work in a cinema environment, because I thought, and I basically just said to Joe, look, it's going to be confusing and complicated. You might not get it, but it's going to be loads of great action, and you're going to absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I won't get it either.
I won't get it either. And funny enough, he ended up getting it more than me. I'm pretty sure. He really kind of got the concepts, and he was telling me, I study philosophy at school and I love that subject, and it was like this, and he kind of likened it to lots of stuff he'd been learning about. But it's brilliant because you know that Christopher Nolan's made this for IMAX, so going to see it in the IMAX theatre, it just feels it's tailor-made, isn't it?
Oh, it's good to hear that people are getting back in the cinema again. I can almost not really remember what it was like. It's been such a long time. I think my last IMAX experience was again seeing a Christopher Nolan movie, and I saw The Dark Knight. And I remember there was something so impressive about the moments where it went IMAX, because of course not the entire film was IMAX.
They've shot more on IMAX in this film. I was definitely aware that there was more in the IMAX format. But it is just impressive to see stuff on that scale, because my last film at the IMAX was Dunkirk. So mine was a Nolan film too. And the impressive thing is also knowing that everything is kind of done for real and there's no green screen shenanigans going on. Yeah, just seeing something on that scale, and a jumbo jet crashing into a building and picking up cars along the way off the tarmac. You just know it's all happening for real. Those stunts are just incredible.
Tough time for cinemas and what have you, though, huh? I mean, goodness me.
I know.
We suddenly realise the world is divided in some kind of half that, some industries can continue on fantastically. And I think it was today I was reading about how the likes of Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, they've tripled their profits in the past 6 months. So all of the money has gone that way. That these sort of industries that are screen based and home screen based, and then they're shutting down chains of cinemas left, right, and centre, theatres. It's a really tough time for a lot of sectors.
Going to the cinema for me felt very safe. It's very well organised, and even as you leave, you kind of leave in row. You stay for the whole credits, and then you leave row by row. Yeah. And also when you're sat there, it's not like a bar or a restaurant. Once you're sat there, you really are in your seat, unless you're nipping off to the loo or anything. You really are in your seat for the duration, not milling around and moving around. And they space you, obviously. They give you lots of space around your seats. So it's only certain seats that are saleable. So it kind of felt very safe to me. Safer than a lot of other experiences we have, day to day.
Yeah, safer than your Q&A at the little talk that you went to. You took your mask off and started telling loud jokes and blowing raspberries at everyone.
Yeah, much safer than that.
You are listening to the debut feature film podcast. This is DIY Cinema Cult.
I mean, one of the things that's been sort of buzzing around my head, because I'm working on my documentary again, is kind of structuring stories. And I don't know if you have any sort of particular techniques when you're writing, because obviously you've been quite kind of prolific recently, sort of knocking feature strips out and the likes. And I mean, do you have any sort of techniques or thoughts? I mean, we've obviously talked about the books, those books that say, at page 24 you must have a fight scene, and at page 40. But that sort of thing aside, as in, the kind of cookie cutter approach to kind of actually creating a story, do you have ways of, when you've got a story in your head, kind of mapping that out and kind of working out how it should flow?
I take a hell of a lot of notes to start with, and just, and handwritten notes. I just fill a book with like scenes and possible scenes and maybe some dialogue and character notes and stuff. And then from there, I do cards. So, little reference cards that the 6x4 cards, and you can still buy in the stationers. I think that.
Old school that way.
Yeah. I mean, they're slightly obsolete bits of stationery, and they're used for reference, or you can drop into a Rolodex or reference their drawers or what have you. But they're great for screenplay writing, because they mean you can just literally, each card can be a scene, and it keeps your structure very fluid for during the process of the early stages of writing your screenplay, because it means you can just have all your cards out on the table, and you can, if you suddenly want to swap scenes around, or bring the second act climax right to the front, maybe start with that, just try things out. You can just push and pull the scenes around, and so nothing is kind of nailed down until it really needs to be. And then from there, once you've got an order that you're quite happy with, then you can move on to start writing, or typing it into a screenplay format.
And so you don't use, do you stick all of that on your wall somewhere, or what do you do with it?
I kind of have them as a stack, and then I kind of, get them out and I move them around on a table. I know there's digital, I think actually on Routine, I did it because a lot of the screenwriting softwares now have digital versions of cards, structuring card layouts, but I still quite like the physicality of just it being a pack of cards that a stack of cards that you then can lay out and push around. But when I'm kind of pinning them, I do have a board that I kind of pin them to as well, so I can kind of see them all at once.
Yeah, because I often think there's a zillion and one software solutions for a lot of these things, but then you think, I'm actually going to spend more time learning a new piece of software, which seems to be suggesting it's going to save you a bunch of time. But then you'll kind of go, oh, look, I can make all of my cards all kind of purple polka dots. And, oh, look, these ones, I can drop video clips. Oh, hang on a minute, I've got to find some video clips now. Is it in a certain amount of it that it's kind of, it actually becomes a distraction, because it's too feature rich. It's sort of, we need the simplicity of just like ideas, I listened to a David Lynch, the God David Lynch interview recently, and it was somebody. I think it's on YouTube. I'm sure we can link to it, through the Facebook group. And this interviewer, who was really very nice, was kind of pushing him to kind of talk about his creative process, and she was kind of saying, oh, do you do mind maps? And do you use any special software? And he just says, no, I write it down. If I have an idea, this is my bad David Lynch impression, by the way.
It's very good.
Is it good? If I have an idea, I write it down, and then I look back at that, and it reminds me of the idea. And I thought, that's kind of all you need.
Yeah, it is.
That's what you need, right?
I think you shouldn't. Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't complicate it with technology. I try and keep it analog for as long as I possibly can. So all of my notes are in books, and often what I'll do as well, I'll write a pre-first draft, which is literally a handwritten draft. So I'll literally get a big kind of A4 lined book, and just and it's 100 and so pages or what have you. That'll be the first draft essentially of the screenplay, will be handwritten in that book. And then from there I'll and that'll probably come from the cards. It go into the book handwritten, and then from handwritten, it will become the first type draft.
Yeah, they love you in that stationer's shop, don't they? This is the only dude in North London who still comes in and buys an A4 lined book. Oh, it's him again. Thank goodness he can pay the bills for one more week.
He's writing another script.
He's got some more creative ideas.
Buy all that dusty crap we can't sell.
Yeah. Come on, this is the one that we had on. This was the one that was featured on Tomorrow's World in 1975. Look, you can have this one. I have to say, I'm not quite as analog as you. I kind of aspire to be, But often what happens with notebooks is I kind of leave them somewhere, or I kind of think, oh, I didn't take my notebook out today, so I'll just start in this other notebook. And then I kind of think, oh, it's such a hassle to merge notebooks.
Yes.
So I do use notebooks quite a lot for idea jotting. But actually, I spend so much of my time in front of basically this computer that I'm sat in front of that I do find that it's probably just a little bit easier to do my idea bashing on it. And actually I sent you a little screen grab, didn't I? What I'm doing at the moment, and it feels very it's kind of the closest you get to analog with a computer. I've just been using stickies. Sticky. It's so kind of
idea. It was great.
Well, it's so kind of old Mac. It's like my first ever Mac, the one that was probably the first color one, had stickies on it, and it was kind of, it was almost like retro. So I've just been using stickies. You can have all of your sort of chapters put into rows relatively simply, and then I can color up other things. That means that, oh, this is some ideas for some shots. It's not like a particular scene or a particular story branch. It's just ideas for shots, and I'll change that to a different color. And the other good thing about it is it's rather than an app that you have to open up and kind of pay attention to. If you just leave them open, they're kind of always on your desktop. So it feels like, in a way, it's like every time I move away from my email or from editing or whatever, they're sort of sat there, and it reminds me, oh shit, I haven't really thought about this section, and I can kind of
quite a good tip, and
I can sort of just copy and paste the odd kind of link into it, but it's not very feature rich. It's kind of pretty analog, and in a way I kind of almost prefer it for that. And what the other thing is, what I hate to admit now is that I can actually type faster than I can write by a long stretch. So my typing is actually, like, my brain to screen connection is probably better than my brain to hand writing connection.
God, you're so millennial.
I am. I'm digital native, just a bit older than most.
It's so beautiful. We're making a movie, man. We're making with love. I'm so happy. Giant man. We're making a movie. We're making a movie with love. This is amazing. Come together, everybody. Bring out your family and all your children, man. It's gonna be beautiful.
Talking about plot, I kind of found on the internet a electronic plot generator for writing your screenplay, and I thought maybe we could have a little play on it. Do you fancy coming up with rustling up a little quick feature film screenplay?
Yeah, you could do it. Tell you what, you could probably like share the screen so we could even show this happening. This is high tech now.
Okay, can you see that?
Oh, yes.
This is the high-tech world of plot generation, and maybe it's the future, Aaron. I don't know. Maybe we won't need our cards anymore. Yeah. Maybe the stationers of the world will go out of business because all you need is this plot generator. So, So here, what kind of story do you want to tell?
Okay, well, maybe have you only got the choice of overcoming the monster?
I think it's stuck on overcoming the monster, which maybe there's some kind of zeitgeist algorithm built into this or something, and it's telling us that everybody wants to see overcoming the monster. So I think it's stuck on that. But what we can do, we can put in locations, but I thought it'd be fun if we just go to automatic suggestion from the plot.
All right,
generator.
go on then. Let's see.
Okay, so location number 1, let's press suggest. It is Miami Beach. It's exotic already.
Yeah. All right. Sounding
big budget though, but here we go.
I wonder what kind of monster this is going to be. Some sort of coke dealer or something from Miami Beach. Yeah, go on then.
Okay, location number 2.
Yeah.
The Natural History Museum.
Okay, so it's pretty. The budget's gone up a bit. The producer and me is already a bit concerned about this idea.
So we're kind of globetrotting here, okay?
Yeah. Oh, it's suggested the Natural History Museum again.
The third location. It obviously heard you about the budget, so mate, it's very intelligent, intelligent algorithm.
Yeah, so all right, we'll make it only out of 2 international places.
Okay, the protagonist.
Okay,
we're gonna ask the electronic plot generator for a suggestion.
Go on, suggest.
Professor Tony Randall, male.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, that's a bit convenient that there's a professor in the Natural History Museum. You don't have a horrible feeling that this is kind of not that random?
Maybe he could be from Miami Beach, and that's the twist.
Okay,
I don't know.
well, here we go. All right.
The 2 adjectives to describe him. Let's go. Suggest number 1. He is considerate. I think that says considerate. Yeah.
Considerate. Okay.
Adjective number 2.
Pretty boring.
He's patient. He does sound dull, doesn't he?
He's boring, isn't he? Should we
He's
just
the hero.
Should we just hit suggest again and see what happens? Because patient and considerate does not sound like a kind of the lead from a character.
Let's go. Shall we do
watch.
his name as well? Because I'm not sure about Professor.
Yeah. Professor Tony Wank.
Professor Kimberly Torrance.
All right, okay, we've changed the female. That's Bella.
But she is caring and sympathetic.
Oh,
right,
come on. It's got to have something. We're going to have to add our own one in. Should we just put caring and pathetic?
Well, let's go. I know. Let's go with her job. Let's find out what her job is. I mean, professor. She must be.
I mean, she's not going to be a street sweeper, is she? She's a private detective.
Okay, so Professor Kimberly Torrance. Very caring and sympathetic.
Private detective.
Okay. A sidekick. Ready? Press suggest. Yep. Okay, here we go. Her sidekick is called Mr. Harold Chen.
Okay. All right. Well, we're kind of getting an idea of where he's originally from.
Let's suggest 2 adjectives to describe Mr. Harold Chen. He is articulate and charming.
Oh my God, they're so boring, aren't they?
Yeah. It's not exactly Tenet, is it?
Well, no, and I've just been reading this book about how all characters have to have a fatal flaw, and these people just seem too nice.
Yeah. Let's see what his job is.
Yeah,
he's a fishmonger.
Fishmonger, Mr. Harold Chen, the articulate and charming fishmonger.
Very charming fishmonger.
He basically charms people into eating
strange seafood. He's so articulate, he can pronounce every kind of fish really well.
This mollusk is a native of the Miami Beach area.
And are your eyes lovely? Oh, you've got lovely eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a very charming fishmonger.
2 of those. Okay, very good.
Okay,
right,
love interest. I guess this is for Professor Kimberly Torrance. Let's see who her love interest is.
Yeah.
Lady Ruth. Oh, it's a lesbian love story. Lady Ruth Lakima. So we're getting a bit more interesting now. It's getting a bit more interesting.
She's a lady as well. So I mean,
she's a lady. Yeah.
She's actually described as not Miss or Ms. She's a Lady Ruth. So royalty.
Do you want to know? What kind of adjectives describe Lady Ruth Lakima? She is incredible.
That's a
Jesus Christ. Okay, and caring.
Oh God, they're so boring. We're gonna have to change some of these.
She's incredible and caring, and her job is she's a nurse.
Lady Ruth Lakima is a nurse. I'm sorry, she just isn't. Her name's Lady Ruth Lakima.
She's obviously Lady of the Manor. Obviously, maybe the upkeep of the manor is, it's really, really hard going to afford the upkeep. She works for the NHS, doing a fantastic job to pay the bills on her manor, I guess, her mansion in the country. Yeah,
or maybe she's just sort of because of coronavirus, she's just decided to kind of help out a little bit.
Yeah,
and so she thought, well, I'm incredibly caring. That's 2 adjectives that she should describe as. So perhaps I should go and do, a job like a nurse and help people with corona.
Yeah, I think that's probably the script. Yeah. Okay. So enemy. This might get interesting now.
Here we go.
Okay. So ready. Let's suggest an enemy.
Yeah.
Mrs. Alison Giant-Bulb. Mrs. Alison Giant-Bulb. Okay.
Okay.
2 adjectives to describe old Giant-Bulb is
these are all
she's
gonna be
wild.
wild.
She's wild.
Wild.
And she is malicious. Oh, she sounds like her job must be something very, very sinister.
These characters don't sound very 3-dimensional to me, but
no,
anyway.
They don't. Okay, do you want to have a guess of what she might do?
Check what her job is. I'm going to say if she's wild and malicious and her name's Miss Giant-Bulb, she is something weird like a zookeeper.
Zookeeper is a very good guess.
Let's have a look.
Okay, let's have a look. She's an actor.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
A wild, malicious actor.
Okay, type of monster. Here is where we get to the monster. So, what kind of monster? You said maybe drug dealer on Miami Beach.
Yeah, see, I think if we don't want to go into kind of fantasy realm because it's Miami Beach Natural History Museum. So far, the character's been quite grounded in reality. I don't want to.
It's a nurse and it's a fishmonger, for God's sake. It's the sidekick.
So I don't want to start adding, fancy elements. So should we just let's make decisions about these, and rather than get it suggested, should we put in drug dealer?
I think we should go full on with the electronic plot generator.
Okay, go on then.
Come on,
I
trust the electronic plot generator here to come up with something brilliant.
No wonder your scripts are the way they are.
Okay, here we go. The monster is a lion.
Okay, all right. At least it's a real creature.
Weapons that could be used to defeat the monster. Let's go. It's a candlestick. Candlesticks, plural. Something precious.
Two candlesticks. If you stick it up a lion's nose, it does give it a very bad headache.
Something precious. Obviously, the script needs something precious. It is a talisman.
Yeah, pretty standard. Pretty standard.
An adjective to describe the precious object. Mystical. It's a mystical
talisman. Yeah.
A vegetable. I don't know why it's asking for a vegetable. Let's just do suggest button again. A turnip. Okay. Yep. Protagonist's favorite type of sweet. Chocolate, fruit, gums, etc. We're going to suggest, the machine's going to suggest it's wine gums.
Right.
A type of music. Suggest for us indie music.
Indie music.
A group of victims, plural. Okay, this is the victims for the monster, I'm guessing. We're going to press suggest button. It's elderly gents. Okay. Oh no, the lion's going to have a go at some elderly gents.
The lion eats elderly gentlemen. Oh.
Something bad the monster might do to its victims. It was going to kill them. That's pretty bad. That's fairly
usually described as a bad thing.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your pen name? We're going to say DIY Cinema Cult here.
Yeah.
We shouldn't really put our names to this script, but
well, you've just written this
just done it
now.
Write me a movie script. You press a button saying write me a movie script. Here we go. Let's press the button.
This is the future, everybody. This is there are more kind of smart versions of this actually happening in Hollywood currently as we speak.
Here we go. Look, we got our script. Wild Lion, which is a good title.
It's called
screenplay by DIY Cinema Cult.
There you go, in black and white.
So I think it's a couple of pages. It's not a feature. It's a couple of pages. We'll read the first page and maybe we'll end on a cliffhanger and come back.
All right, I'll be Kimberly. You be Ruth.
Okay.
You can read the stage directions.
Okay, I'll do the stage directions. Okay, exterior, Miami Beach, afternoon. Caring private detective Professor Kimberly Torrance is arguing with articulate nurse Lady Ruth Blakeman. Kimberly tries to hug Ruth, but she shakes her off.
Please, Ruth, don't leave me.
Ruth, I'm sorry, Kimberly, but I'm looking for somebody a bit more brave. Somebody who faces her fears head on instead of running away.
I am such a person.
Ruth frowns. Ruth, I'm sorry, Kimberly, I just don't feel excited by our relationship anymore. Ruth leaves. That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, it is a bit.
Kimberly sits down looking defeated. Moments later, incredible fishmonger Harold Shen barges in looking flustered.
Goodness, Harold, is everything okay?
I'm afraid not.
What is it? Don't keep me in suspense.
It's a lion. I saw a lion kill a bunch of elderly gents.
Defenseless elderly gents.
Yes, defenseless elderly gents. This is brilliant script.
This is brilliant. Bloomin' heck, Harold, we've got to do something.
I agree, but I wouldn't know where to start.
Well, you can tell. I'm actually adding a few bits of character here, which you probably. I'm going to stick to the script because it doesn't deserve it. You can start by telling me where this happened.
Harold fans himself and begins to wheeze.
Fans? He fans himself. Focus, Harold, focus. Where did it happen?
The Natural History Museum, London. That's right. Natural History Museum, London. Kimberly springs up and begins to run.
The producer in me is already thinking, well,
she's got to run from Miami Beach to the Natural History Museum in London.
It's a whip pan. They just whip from one location to the next.
Exterior, a road, continuous. Kimberly rushes along the street, followed by Harold. They take a shortcut through some back gardens, jumping fences along the way. Interior, Natural History Museum, shortly after. Alison Giant-Bulb, a wild lion, terrorizes... Is she called... What?
She's the baddie. Apparently, Alison Giant-Bulb is now the actual baddie, the wild lion.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, yeah, anyway.
Okay. Alison Giant-Bulb, a wild lion. That's a brilliant name for a lion. Terrorizes two elderly gents. Kimberly, closely followed by Harold, rushes towards Alison and suddenly stops in her tracks. What is? What's the matter?
That's not just any old lion. That's Alison Giant-Bulb.
Who's Alison Giant-Bulb?
Who's Alison Giant-Bulb? Who's Alison Giant-Bulb? They do actually say that twice. The second time is italicized. Only the most wild lion in the universe.
Blinking knickers, Kimberly. You're going to need some help if you're going to stop the most wild lion in the universe.
You can say that again.
Blinking knickers, Kimberly. You're going to need some help if you're going to... Oh, that's awful. You're going to need some help if you're going to have to stop the most wild lion in the universe.
I'm going to need candlesticks. Lots of candlesticks.
Alison turns and sees Kimberly and Harold. She grins an evil grin. Alison.
I'll be Alison.
Okay, you be Alison, okay.
Kimberly Torrance, we meet again.
Very good. You've met, Harold. You've met?
Yes, it was a long, long time ago.
Okay, should we leave it there? Is that the cliffhanger? Should we leave it there and then we'll kind of...
I wouldn't exactly call it a cliffhanger, but I think we've certainly used up enough bandwidth because it looks like it just goes on and on.
Oh, there is an end, but I don't...
Is there? I think we'll leave... Should we
leave
post
it?
The rest to the Facebook group?
DIY Cinema Club.
I mean, that was fantastic.
Beautiful. Thrilling stuff. It was sort of, I suppose what it does is it sort of generates melodrama, basically, doesn't it? It doesn't really create drama. It just creates the simulation of melodrama in some way or another.
Yeah. It was, slightly disappointing but fun. I don't know.
Possibly what listening to this podcast will be like.
I don't know if I would tap in our routine characters into that to generate some scenes. I think I'll stick to the cards and the notebooks. Thanks.
It'll be interesting to see if any of our listeners can kind of get anything useful out of it, because I mean, there's quite a lot of there's a lot of fear in the kind of, I suppose, the film community about how plots and storylines have been so codified that actually it is not that far away for AI to do a pretty good stab at making a script that we end up watching. And I know there's been some experiments recently, certainly with music making, with machine learning and basically asking a kind of an AI or particularly using machine learning to just listen to a particular composer ad infinitum, listen to every possible piece of music, and then feed back a kind of simulation of that composer with pretty convincing results. But maybe scripts and stories have got a few extra layers of complexity before an AI could manage to do something like that. What do you think?
Write me an Aaron Sorkin script, or just write me a me a Woody Allen film. And based on all the films they've made, they'll give you a simulation.
Yeah, well, I mean, with Woody Allen, he's almost doing that himself now, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's always the same thing. It's like place, Paris, person, girl, time of year, winter, winter. I mean, that's basically all of the Woody Allen films now, isn't it? And I mean, I'm sure he's still they're amusing, but he has a dark cloud hanging over him, doesn't he?
He does, doesn't he? Yeah.
So we've also been talking a little bit about locations, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. We kind of threw it up on the Facebook because we wanted to just kind of find out about other people's location stories. I think what kind of started this off for me was that with Old Man, I had a location that was looking fantastic. And basically for Old Man, we need a kind of caravan park on the coast somewhere that kind of is kind of the setting for most of the story. And I found one which looked great, and I was in contact with this guy a couple of months ago, and he was so super excited about us filming there, to the point where he was like just saying, look, we'd love to hear more about the film, and as long as you can take some production stills and or shooting, shots of you shooting for us to use for the publicity. And I was thinking, great, this is going to be fantastic. And then about 3 weeks ago, I emailed him again to say, can I come along and do a recce and take some pictures and just so he can help us make our final decision. And I got an email back. Well, I didn't get an email back straight away, after maybe a week or so, and I followed it up and emailed him again. And it was funny, he went so quiet because he was so chatty on email for a couple of weeks. I got an email back from somebody else saying he's lost his job. And he doesn't work here anymore, and we'll have to forward your email onto somebody else. And I thought, shit, after doing all that great groundwork, I'm thinking, we're like best mates now. He wants to help us out. He's going to really kind of bend over backwards to make it fine for us to shoot in his caravan park. He'd lost his job as the camp manager, so now I'm talking to this other woman, and we might be back on track now. But then it turns out that she's going to be passing over her job to somebody else. I think it's just this whole COVID atmosphere is making things very uncertain. And it's obviously making it uncertain for us to be able to lock down locations as well. So
if you excuse the pun, the lockdown pun.
Yeah, excuse the pun, exactly. So I'd be interested to hear what listeners think as well. Are you trying to set up shoots now? Are you having real difficulty?
What's interesting now is that all of the casting companies are now trying to, model agencies and the like, trying to kind of offer you people that are within bubbles. So you can get kind of couples or family members to sort of to be extras and the like. So that kind of obviously cuts down a certain element of sort of concern. But even if not, what you have to do is to sort of send out a form in advance. Everybody has to fill in that form saying that they've not come into contact with anything that they've not feeling any symptoms. And when they arrive, they need a mask on, you need your hand sanitizer, and the production assistant or whomever is there to sort of remind people throughout the day not to get too close, that the windows have got to be open. Everyone gets their food in separate boxes.
Yeah.
So it's, there's definitely a few, rightfully so, a few hoops to sort of jump through. And I think it's even, it's very, very challenging on the big shoots, and they have dedicated COVID officers who've done, weekend courses. And on some of the big dramas, they've got like 20, 30 people just looking after the COVID stuff. So you can imagine the budgets have all got to have gone up. But of course, at the moment, actually budgets are shrinking. So it's putting the squeeze on even the big productions. There's a lot of boxes that you do have to tick.
Yeah, I was speaking to Rami, our mate who might be shooting Old Man. He's working on a production at the moment, and he said, he's been out of work for months and months, like a lot of film technicians and workers, and he's so happy to be back on a production. But he says, it's run. It's almost like a military operation. He gets a COVID test once a week.
Wow,
which is fantastic because they're so
them
hard to come
anyway.
by. Otherwise. So they get a COVID test once a week. They get their temperature taken twice a day.
Well, it would be tough to shoot a kind of guerrilla style indie film like we would potentially be making a film.
We threw up the question about locations to the Facebook page, and we got some very, very entertaining.
Oh, you got some amazing
answers.
Stuff. Yeah.
Stephen Gray had some incredible stories about. I kind of just said what your kind of location nightmares, because I thought the word nightmares would kind of spark people into throwing up some answers, and Stephen just had some incredible ones.
Read some out.
Well, I'm looking here. He was like, there were so many of them, but he said, well, one of them was being blindfolded by Hamas fighters in Gaza Strip and the car and being driven to a secret location. Things like that. And Kelly King as well, saying bundled into a Jeep at assault rifle point in Congo. I thought, my God, this sounds way worse than anything we've experienced in our films.
Yeah, I spent, a couple of days. I remember my feet getting very cold on location once, and the wardrobe person lending me some cowboy boots.
You are listening to DIY Cinema Cult.
I did want to tell that one story of when we were shooting Mother.
Oh yeah. Oh God, go on then.
Am I allowed to tell that story? So
go on then.
It was basically me and Aaron shot a film called Mother a couple of years ago now, starring national treasure Miriam Margolyes, and we were shooting in the producer's parents' house, lovely big house in Kilburn,
North London. Yep.
We were setting up for our morning shot, the first shot of the day. And then Aaron had to nip to the loo, as you do. You have to kind of, your morning.
Early start, a lot of instant coffee.
Exactly. So Aaron nipped to the loo, and it was the downstairs loo. And it wasn't as peaceful as you kind of had hoped for, because within minutes of you going into the toilet, Miriam Margolyes was banging on the door asking when you were going to get out. Do you remember?
Well, I was in the middle of the most delicate of manoeuvres, as you would imagine, and it was taking its time. It wasn't a quick pit stop, should we say? And the somewhat terrifying voice and bashing fist of Miriam Margolyes against the door, saying, "Are you all right in there? Are you having a shit?
Are you having a shit? Open a window. If you're having a shit, open the window." And her voice is not. She doesn't have many grades of quietness in her volume.
Off or on, exactly.
It's off or on. And so the whole crew was just being kind of quite entertained by Miriam kind of demanding you to make certain allowances for your
hurrying me up through the most delicate of moments. And I mean, let's face it, if anyone was going to hurry you up, you want to hurry up. When she starts shouting at you hurry up. But it's not an easy thing to hurry up with grace.
No.
So it was a little bit, and because we hadn't started turning over yet, I hadn't even had a chance to establish my first AD tough guy kind of face. So So, I hadn't kind of established the fact that, I was in charge of the set or anything yet. So I'd already been shouted down by
God.
the star and had to, should we say, quickly vacate the toilet with my tail between my legs.
Well, hopefully not, but
not literally.
Hopefully you flushed it. But it was when you came out that made me laugh, because no sooner had the door open than Miriam was in there like a ferret, because she was obviously needed to go as well.
Needed something similar,
and you just came out going, "Oh, not exactly the most relaxing shit I've ever had."
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait a minute. There's the hole.
Have you ever shot in any kind of big studios? Because when I was a runner doing on TV commercials, we used to shoot a lot at like Pinewood and Shepperton, and I used to love those places because they were such exciting. When you imagine being involved in
the movies,
in film and the movie business, you kind of imagine those places. And whenever I was on my lunch break shooting whatever commercial it happened to be, I'd always do a little stroll around. I do remember going to Leavesden once for a commercial shoot. That's the place that's now the Warner Brothers, the Harry Potter.
Of course,
exhibition. Although it is still a working studio
well.
too. When I first went to Leeds, and it was years and years ago, and I was working on some TV commercial and running again, and I went for a little walk around, and it is just, before it got developed into the Warner Brothers, the Harry Potter thing, it is just a cavernous. I think it used to be a Rolls-Royce engine factory. So it's these huge cavernous rooms that are all kind of connected. That weren't purpose-built. They're not purpose-built studios. They're just very large spaces, interiors. And it's funny because you'd walk around and when I was there, they were empty. There was nothing going on, but they were kind of they're being used as storage for, like, in the corner, you'd see like a huge Star Wars ship or vehicle. And in the other corner, there'd be something from Batman or something. And they were just being stashed there while they figured out what the hell they were going to do with them, or why they were going to get shipped to some kind of movie museum or what have you.
The sad thing about it is often after big sort of film shoots, they just have to destroy the props, don't they? And the sets. They do. But I think there is some legal reason why they have to actually
I think there is. Yeah, I think there is. And I think it's contractual. It's written in that they have to be destroyed at the end. I think in some contracts, and I know this because my mate Chris, who is an animator, avid model builder. He's very into, he builds incredible sets and
amazing stuff.
And models for his animations. So at his heart, that's what he loves to do. He loves to build these things. And he once got a job when, shortly after we left uni, he got a summer job where he was basically stood in a skip in Shepperton, just smashing the shit out of ships from Lost in Space. And he just had a hammer and a whatever he had, and he was just smashing the crap out of these huge, very beautifully detailed, intricate ships that he just had, and he broke his heart.
DIY Cinema Club.
Just walking the streets of London these days, and you realise how many places are just completely shut and shuttered up. So a pub we used to often meet, in fact, when we were sort of forging the idea of doing a podcast, we would meet at the old dairy, a pub that's sort of nearby to us. It's still closed. And again, there's this cavernous, fantastic space inside that's being entirely unloved and unused. And you just think that, is London going to become this big sort of, for the foreseeable future, this big museum of potential fantastic film locations, but without the ability to actually go in and film in any of them, because it's such a restrictive environment to shoot any indie films at the moment. Could we shoot a sort of movie that's done in an empty derelict post-COVID location in some way.
We'd be freezing in there, wouldn't we? We'd be absolutely, all the heating would be off. We're getting into the winter months now.
It's true, but then it would at least be a slightly more impressive story for the Facebook group than me getting shouted at by Aaron Margules about speeding up my shit.
I do remember there was this one time, I think I've told you this story before, about when I was running on those TV commercials, and I got a call at, on a Sunday morning from one of the producers, and he said to me, what are you doing right now? And I think I'd woken up, I was in my early 20s, I was very hungover, I woke up on my mate's floor or what have you. So I couldn't obviously tell him, and he went, are you busy today? And I was kind of going, oh, well, it's, it's family dinner, it's very important I go. I can't, because I knew he was angling for me to do something work-related.
Yeah.
And he went to me, you've got to, we need somebody to take a lens to a film set in Barcelona right now. And I went, it's fine. It's only a family dinner. I'm there. No problem at all. And he said to me, right, go. He goes, where are you? And I said, I'm at my friend's. And he goes, right, go back to your house right now. We're sending a car. Oh, no, that was it. First a car's going to arrive at your house. It's going to drop off the lens. Then, and the second car is going to come half an hour after that. It's going to take to the airport, and there's tickets at the airport, and you're going to Barcelona to drop this lens off. And I was like, oh my God, I felt like I was in a spy movie. I could have been a drugs mule quite easily, but I suddenly felt like I was James Bond, and I ran back home, and the lens came, and then a car came, and it was the weirdest day, because the guy driving the cab was just chatting to me, and he seemed like not your usual kind of cab driver. He was very kind of upper middle class, older guy.
Yeah.
And he said, he was asking me what I was doing. I said I was delivering lens to a film set in Spain, and he said to me, I used to be involved in the film industry. And I was like, oh really? He goes, yeah, I was actually one of my best friends was Oliver Reed. And I was like, really? And I didn't believe a word he said. And he goes, yeah, Oliver Reed, I used to spend loads of time around his house. And do you know he had a vomitarium in his house? I was going, what's a vomitarium? He goes, it's like this big kind of fountain. The Romans used to have it, continuously kind of, flowing fountain in which he could just vomit into it was like drainage, it was like a constantly in motion bidet. And he had one in the middle of his house. He's just pissing it. He would just vomit into it and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't think this guy was telling the truth at all. And I was kind of fobbing him off. And it wasn't until Oliver Reed died a couple of years later that he turned up on the documentaries. He was one of the interviewees. So he was telling the truth. So anyway, so I was getting driven to the airport by Oliver Reed's best mate. Yeah. And then, so I get to the airport, find the ticket and everything, go to the shoot. And it was like a Walker's Crisps ad. Wasn't the most glamorous thing.
Oh my God, this is how rock and roll the film industry used to be.
Yeah. So I was being flown around the world for bloody Walker's Crisps. Anyway, we were filming at the Barcelona stadium, and it was the reason why it was all a bit stressy was because remember the Brazilian footballer Romario?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I think he played for he was playing for Barcelona.
Barcelona,
yeah. So he was like the kind of star of the ad. And anyway, so it was the one day of the year they could get Romario. So I get there, I do the lens thing, and they say, look, you might as well stay for the day, and then you're going to leave tonight, and you're going to take all the rushes for the day. And I was like, fine.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Yeah, and it was all shot on film, so it was a stack of film cans all gaffer taped together. And as I was getting in the cab to drive me to the airport, I dropped the film cans, and they hit the pavement, the corner of the pavement. It was such a loud clang that all the kind of crew turned around, and I was getting in the cab. Anyway, I just bundled the tins into the cab, and I just said, right, take me to the airport. And I tipped the cans up, and I looked at the bottom tin, and it was so dented right on the corner where the sprockets would be. And I just knew that I must have fucked up probably Romario's close-up. It just had to be. And I had the worst panic attack, as you do when you're kind of a runner on big film shoots, because you always kind of tend to you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders when anything goes wrong. And I just sweated all the way home through, through the flight. I got to Air Soho Images, as it was back then, one of the Soho labs. And when I gave it over to the guy on the desk, I said, look, hands up. I just want to say, look, this was me. And I can sign anything you want to say, this was the condition they were in when I handed them over, blah, blah, blah. And the bloke just goes, oh, I've seen loads worse. And I was like, you what? And he goes, yeah, these fall off the back of bikes all the time. This is fine. And I was like, mate, I could have done with a phone call with you about 3 hours ago, because I've been shitting it for the longest time. Oh my God.
Oh dear.
I do remember calling up for the next day to the lab saying, is everything okay with the shots? Secretly, so my producers didn't hear me. But luckily I got away with that, but not without losing a couple of years off my life.
Fun.
I do remember there was lots of urban legends, like there was a runner who was told to drop a bunch of film cans to a lab somewhere in Soho again, and he couldn't find the lab and he panicked, and so he was too scared to go back and say that he didn't know where the lab was, so he just threw them in the skip and went home. I don't know how true that is, but it could be true, because I do remember kind of doing weird things back then when it was all kind of film can. Because I guess with just the film, when it was filmed, there was just that really kind of heightened value of everything.
Yeah, there's only one of them. Yeah, that's it. There's no backups. There's no DIT. That's it. And it hasn't even been developed yet. It's a physical thing,
The Soho days when we used to be kind of mincing around Soho, drunk like a couple of dandies, and then every now and again just on a shoot somewhere exciting. And
but we're DIY filmmakers now, so we have to just make film in whatever way is possible. So
we're going to make Soho's a state of mind. It's in us. It. We are Soho. This is Soho.
Yeah,
I am Soho.
We are all Soho.
We're all Soho.
We're all Soho. If anybody does have anything that they'd particularly like us to focus on, I think often it would be nice to kind of get an idea of what what sorts of things that you'd like to chat us to chat about, and also maybe chat to, and any suggestions of people that we might want to get in touch with, then feel free to fire us over some stuff.
Absolutely. That sounds like a plan. That sounds like a plan.
Face ache. Lovely.
Yes.
All right, man. Sayonara.
See you later, listeners.
Good night, listeners.
Love you.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Follow us on Twitter at DIY Cinema Cult, or on Instagram we are DIY_cinema_cult. Seek out the DIY Cinema Cult group on Facebook, or why not email us at DIYCinemaCult@gmail.com. Follow us.